Hey guys, this is Andrew with Figure Fandom Review, and today we're going to be reviewing the strongest creature alive, the most terrifying man on the planet, closely followed by P. Diddy, the father of the legendary Baki Hanma, the one and only Storm Collectibles Yujiro Hanma from the Baki Hanma series. So yeah, I am a fan of the Baki series. I've been watching it since the original OVA, and shout out to anybody who has seen that. You know, it was really good actually. The animation quality was pretty decent too for that OVA. But that's before this newer rendition of the Baki series. But yeah, man, for Yujiro's, he's just Yujiro, man. He's pretty much the Saitama of the Baki world. So he's a huge release from the Baki series. I really don't know what more they're going to bring out from Baki. I think they probably, if I had to guess, maybe they do like Dopo would be another release they would do from Baki. Or maybe Biscuit Oliver, I think is his name. I always mess up his name. I think it's Biscuit Oliver. But yeah, so really like the original Baki, which I have. I just didn't review it because that was prior to me actually starting reviews. But yeah, this figure is a lot of fun. A little low on the accessories, and I mean, honestly, what could you really give him? Yujiro does everything with his fists. It's really not a whole lot in terms of accessories you could really give a figure like this. So I understand. But really like him. There are some, negatives to it, but all in all, it's a really strong release. So let's just go ahead, get him off the stand, and dive right in. Alright guys, let's dive right into the aesthetics. And I'm just going to tell you up front, man, this is amazing. Like, look at the mold work. Just the mold work alone is a masterpiece, man. Like, look at this. As soon as you get to here, I mean, that is ridiculous looking. Like, like the mold work is insane on this figure. They did such a great job. Now, on this figure, there is shading throughout the entire figure. They did a really great job of shading this figure. They used like a reddish sort of color, and I guess, to kind of, I don't know, it does work with him though. Maybe like a reddish fleshy undertone kind of look. But he has shading from the top of his hair. There's shading, so bring him in a little bit closer. There is shading throughout the hair. So he's like a dark wash on the hair to kind of make it, highlight it, make it pop a bit more, which is really good. The face is got like this kind of like a reddish undertone to it, and I'm guessing that's because this whole thing is just red. Like the hair is the actual color of the plastic mold, and I'm guessing maybe they painted the face. But either way, the paint work on the face is pristine. No issues whatsoever. It looks amazing. But it is a little, the skin is a little darker than the chest. So what they did, they actually put a lot more of a reddish shading around his chest and his shoulder area, delts right there, to kind of just make it blend a bit better between this area. So it doesn't really, you'll notice it if you're like really going close and like trying to peek, but from afar or just from a normal distance, it blends very well. So they did a really good job on that. The only other thing that you can really knock it on is that he does get a farmer stand on his feet. So the feet are, not blended well to his shin, so it looks like he's been wearing socks out in the sun for a couple weeks, and he's got a farmer stand. So that's the only thing that you can really knock it on. But I mean, my God, that sculpt work is that's ridiculous. He looks just like if you took Yujiro Hanma and just pulled him out of the anime. That's what he is. So really great job. All right, guys. So with that being said, let's just jump straight into the articulation. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the star of the show, Articulation, because he is a fighter and he should be able to move. So for this figure, let's start with the top as usual. For head movement, looking down, you can do very well. Just understand that he's gonna bury his I guess, neck or clavicle or whatever part of his body that is into his chest pretty far, so it kind of bends in there. So it does look a little goofy, but he can move his neck. As well as moving back, he doesn't have a problem, especially considering the long hair he has in the back of, you know, his head that should be like, you know, stopping that. It doesn't impede it that much at all, so that's really, really good. And I can only imagine that with the other hair pieces, which are raised up even more, probably do even less. So that's really cool that they you know, thought about the head movement for this character. Now for head tilt, you have really good range for that side, and then you have really good range to that side. So not bad at all on the head movement. And of course he can look to his left and right, no problem. Now for the arms, he can move his arms out quite a bit. So he has really good arm range, 100%. He also has a butterfly joint. Now, the butterfly joint doesn't work as well as I'd like it to. So the reason for that is that the rubber chest here, as you can see, the rubber chest pushes the arms away. So it has some range, but the rubber, it would only, if you were to push it without the chest affecting it, it would only go about that much. And the chest pushes it out to there because it is rubber and it's pushing back on it. So that is, you know, not the worst range, but, you know, not what we consider like gold standard range. Like, oh my God, this is amazing. No, it's you know, it's there, it works. It just doesn't work amazingly. So for his, you know, biceps, he does get a bicep swivel. Works really, really good. No problems there. He does get a double jointed elbow. So really good. His wrists work, oops, popped out, sorry. His wrists work very well. So he has good wrist movement and articulation, no problem. I actually like the Storm Collectibles wrists. I do like that they, you know, come out pretty easily and it's easy enough to just peg the hands back in. You're not fighting with them. The downside is, like I said, they do come out a little easy. So sometimes when you're posing the hands, you may pop them off. But I don't know, you can't have your cake and eat it too. I prefer the way they do their hands. Honestly. So moving to his, I guess his lower pectoral cut, because, you know, it does move down. So you do get, you know, downward range with it. So there's that. It can move back, of course, a fair amount. So you can, you know, puff up his chest really big. He does have side to side movement with it. So he could tilt side to side on it. So really good. Now for the lower waist, he can move this around very well. So he has good range, good tilt range, good back and forward range. Now, when you go back, you are going to get significant gapping right there. And you can't really put, okay, that looks weird, but you can't really push this, you know, Speedo up any further, unfortunately. Now, he can look down and you will get some gapping, but on his butt cheeks, you can kind of push that up to kind of cover that. So he does gap at the lower waist, so just be aware of that. Now, the star of the show for him, in my opinion, is his leg articulation. Like, that is ridiculous, man. He can legit do the splits, no problem. So just phenomenal, you know, leg articulation. Now, he does have a thigh cut, and it is super squeaky, and it just sounds awful. But, you know, it does work. It's just really squeaky. So moving to, oh yeah, that's rough. I gotta put something on that. Moving to his legs, he can kick out about that far forward, and back he can kick out pretty much all the way. No issues there. So he kicked out pretty good. You just have to keep playing around with his Speedo, because the Speedo likes to, you know, kind of move around into weird spots, and you got to keep playing with it to get it back to normal. Now, for his knees, he does get a double jointed knee that works really good. He does have an ankle rocker, but it's kind of weird. You kind of have to jiggle it to get this thing to really, you know, do it well. Sometimes it feels like you're going to break it. So I haven't broken mine yet, but just be careful. You know, these things are expensive. We don't want to, you know, break it. So just, you know, jiggle it little by little till you get it into the position you want it. So yeah, like that, like just like how I'm doing it. Now the toe hinge is pretty good, a really good surface area on that toe hinge, by the way. So you can, like, when you put him in positions where you're utilizing it, it works very well, and it does look fairly natural. So no issues. So yeah, I mean, honestly, this is the fun of this figure, is in the articulation. I mean, to me that's the fun of every figure, is moving them around and posing them and being able to recreate the scenes and the poses from the shows and the manga that we watch and read. Now, he's really, really good though. I mean, honestly, I found myself doing so many poses with this figure and having so much fun with what I could do with him. I really like this figure a lot. But now let's move into the accessories, and there are some issues with that. Alright guys, so for accessories we get one happy smiling fighting face, one more concerned angry fighting face. We also get his, I guess, going Super Saiyan happy fighting face, a pair of bare feet. We also get a pair of flared out fingers. We get a pair of what looks like grasping hands. We get what look to be like martial artist hands. We also get a pair of relaxed hands. We get a pair of Shao Kahn pointing fingers. And we also get a pair of karate chopping hands, or hands for putting into your pockets. Alright guys, and lastly for accessories we do get his clothes. So we do get a shirt for him as well as a pair of pants. Now, the only problem I have with the clothes is that they are very annoying to put on. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's still, it's a little obnoxious trying to get the shirt and the pants on him. So the problem I have is that usually with stuff like this, Yujiro is sometimes wearing nothing but a Speedo in the anime. And at other times he's wearing just his pants, and then he has a whole ensemble. So it just makes it so you don't really want to change it, which kind of defeats the purpose of the figure. You get a figure so that you can put it in poses or recreate scenes for dioramas, or just to put on your shelf or your desk or whatever. So if the outfit's annoying to use, you're not going to want to use it. That's a downside. So anyways guys, that's my only really gripe with this, and the final accessory we have. Alright guys, well there you have it, Storm Collectibles Yujiro Hanma. Man, I really like this figure. So going over the pros, the mold work, man, it's so good. He looks perfect, like you just ripped him out of the anime and put him right in front of us. He is beautiful. Amazing shading and painting. Like, the shading throughout the figure is gorgeous. It really makes everything in his musculature just pop. The paintwork on the faceplates is so clean, some of the cleanest you'll see. So great job there. Articulation is really good. He's just fun to pose. I mean, if that's a lot of the fun. That's why we get, figures instead of statues. We like to pose them. We're all big kids at heart. So for me, that's really good. I mean, perfect articulation. The downsides, he doesn't have a lot of accessories. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, hey, well, Yujiro doesn't. He just, walks around and beats people up with his fists. Yeah, but he also smokes in the anime. We see him smoke a lot. We also do see him drink, beer or whiskey or whatever. So just something like that would have, gone a long way to kind of, just adding more value to it. It just feels a little bare bones, if, I'm being honest. And also, the biggest issue I have with this figure is really the clothing. It is a pain to take his pants off, put them on, take his shirt off, put it on. It's just a nightmare. Not the worst thing, but it's kind of just makes you want to be like, whatever, screw it. And that's not what these figures are about. These figures are about you switching them up, putting, different, the pants on him, to taking his shirt off so he recreates a certain scene, things like that. That's, you want to do this stuff with these figures, but they do make it really awkward and kind of hard to, dress him. So that is a downside for me. So all in all, I'm going to give this figure an 8 out of 10. I think it's a really strong, solid release, and only marred by a few small issues that I think they can fix in time with other figures that may be similar. So if you are new to my channel, do go ahead, subscribe. If you like this, then go ahead and like it. If you don't like it, then don't do anything. No, but seriously, I do like the feedback and your opinions. Please comment. Don't, the comments, everybody's been really cool. Also, I want to just, say thank you to all the love I've been receiving from everybody. A lot of you guys have been very supportive in, this endeavor. I am a new YouTuber, so I'm still growing, still learning, and I just appreciate all the positive feedback and the reinforcement I've been getting from you guys. So if you've got anything to say in the comments, go ahead, say it. We're all a really cool community, and I do love interacting with all of you. So, with that being said, guys, as usual, I want you guys to be safe, and as always, keep collecting. I'll see you guys later.